Okay, so first is there are times that they will intentionally and unintentionally make you feel that you are not part of their family. Yeah, I've experienced that. My friends have experienced that. I think it's because you're the new addition to the family and they already have this culture. They already have this circle before you came. And at the same time, I think because of the bias or the loyalty. Okay, so you just have to make sure that your partner is aware of that and is sensitive about that because only the biological parent, only your partner can really do something about it. You can't. You can't force yourself into them. You can force them to accept you. It's really your partner. It's up to your partner. If your partner will help you, if your partner will do something so the family can accept you. Your partner cannot be passive. This is one thing I've learned because Mike used to be so passive and I really hated that because I became the scapegoat of their unresolved issues and because if he doesn't do something, if he doesn't talk, then I always, I always get the blame. I always become the bad person in the end because he doesn't talk. And but he's changed now. He has improved so much. And then next is there are times that you don't know where to stand exactly. Oh my gosh, everyone that I know has experienced this, especially with the kids. Because if you don't treat them like they're your own, then you will be judged as someone who doesn't really love the kids and who hasn't really accepted the kids. That's one thing, so that's negative, right? But if you also treat them as your own, you can also be judged as trying to replace their mother. So really, where do you stand? Right? It's hard because the line is so blurry. Like, okay, for me, I'm just doing my part. I'm just taking care of them. Just how I take care of my nieces and nephews and my family. I mean, I like when I love people around me, I don't really label them that this is my son, this is my daughter, this is my niece. When I love the kids around me, I love them. When I consider my friends to be family, I would show the same. So, for some reason, there are people who are not like that. They are so sensitive about their roles and their place in a person's life. Like, when they feel like there's a competition, and I really hate that because isn't it better to love more and to be loved by more people? You know, um, that's one thing that me and my friends really hate. Okay, because it's hard for us, we're trying our best, but then we still look bad. Okay, three, there are times that you will feel unappreciated and not reciprocated for what you do, give, and sacrifice for them. This is so true. Um, like even in my own situation, okay, and it's not. I think it's not only for step parents. It's not only for the second wife. It's also applicable to all parents, even bio parents, because I think it really depends on the values that you instill in your kids or in the culture of your community or your society. Because I've also noticed that here in Canada, people have a lot of they have sense of entitlement compared to my environment growing up. We were never entitled. I mean, we worked for everything that we wanted and we never felt like we are above everyone because my parents would always discipline us and always make us feel bad if we are ever treating people like they are inferior than us, and if we ever become arrogant, because my parents are so big on humility and modesty and simplicity. So um, that's why growing up, we we are so grateful for the people who have helped us. And for some reason, in my experience here, a lot of people don't have that deep sense of gratitude. No, not just saying thank you though. That's so superficial. Saying thank you is not gratitude. Um, the real sense of gratitude is when you respect that person, when you treat that person nicely, when you're good to that person and you do good things back to that person, because you know that that person has helped you in any way, right? So yeah, so that's one thing though, because a lot of people here, like I've experienced that, like, oh, I was so good to this person, and now it's like this person treats me like I haven't even contributed to his or her life, you know? So that you can also feel that in a blended family, because to be honest, you really have little control when you're in a blended family. It's like also with the kids, right? You take care of them, you treat them as your own, you feed them, everything. You take care of their mess and everything. Like you do the mother duties or the father duties, but you don't have rights over them. You have responsibilities, but you don't have rights. So really, where do you get that heart, right? So if you are a kind of person who would always want to be reciprocated for what you do, this is not for you. Because if you ask me, then if you're not reciprocated, then why are you still there? First, I just tell myself every time that I'm not doing this for them or for Mike, but I'm doing this for God. Really, because that's the only statement that can appease me and that can make me feel good about my situation. You know, because I always think that God sees and God knows, and He knows how to reward and He knows how to take care of me if I take care of what's important to Him. So, yeah. But sometimes I forget that. So sometimes I also cry. I also, do some self-pity and stuff, like every other human being. But I always pick up myself and remind myself of who I am, what my identity is in God's family. So next is, there are times that you'll feel, we're done. So you take care of them, but they don't take care of you. Yeah. And then next, bio parent, loyalty, or bias, and the double standards. Okay. I understand this, but at the same time, even though you understand this, you still feel the pain, right? Because, for example, like, okay, if I like something, if I say that I like this, and then they may disrespect you for that, or they may mock your choices or your opinion, but if they hear the same thing being said by their bio parent, then they suddenly change their perspective. Then suddenly they like it, they agree with it, because it's their bio parent saying it. So yeah, all of us have experienced that. It's the bio parent loyalty or bio parent bias. And sometimes when they do something wrong, and then their bio parents they're so apologetic, they say sorry so many times, but if they do that to you, you don't even hear any sorry from them, because you're not their bio parent. You know, the double standards. So yeah, that's another thing. That's another issue that you have to be prepared for. Next is the ex drama. So that's why I mentioned this earlier, that you have to make sure that there are no ex issues, or that there's minimal ex issues, because oh my gosh, it's so toxic. Like you just want to create a new life together and to create a new world together and just live a happy life, and then for some reason when the ex keeps dragging you down and just creates drama and issue after issue, then you also get affected, and especially when the kids are involved. Okay, so one, you have to be prepared because some exes treat the step parent or the new wife or husband of their ex as a competition instead of a co-parent. Okay, this is one thing that I really hate, because what is the point of competing with another person who also loves your kids? You know? I mean, why can't we just all move forward and live our own life and just deal with our own life? So, yeah, you have to be prepared for that. Next is sometimes the exes, they try to poison or brainwash their kids against you. Okay? I have a friend that, I don't know, the ex is just so threatened and jealous of the new partner, because she's really good with kids and she makes good food, and she cooks really good. And then the kids talked about her dish when they went back to their mom, and then the mom got threatened and she also cooked the same food. And that can be so toxic because the kids can sense that, they can feel that. So because they can sense that from their bio parent, then the kids would start to take sides. Instead of them having 2 parents or 4 parents, now they have to take sides because they don't want their bio parent to feel bad, you know? And next is when the exes try to use the kids to manipulate or control your partner. Oh my gosh. For some reason, there are people who cannot just move on even after the divorce. Like, what's the point of getting a divorce or being separated if you still want to affect your ex, like to control your ex or to manipulate your ex? Move on. Especially if you have a new partner already, just create a new life together with your new partner. Why do you need to keep bugging your ex, right? And what's important is you take care of the kids. That's it, right? Next is another issue that you have to be prepared for is when you feel like you're just being needed and not loved. This is connected to feeling not being part of the family. So you need they only, sometimes you would feel that they're only nice to you when they need you. They need your support. They need you to do something for them, or they want to please their bio parent. But after that, like aside from that, then they don't really care about you. Like they don't even greet you on your birthday or stuff. In other words, they don't really treat you as family. Yeah, so you have to prepare for that. I think it takes time. It takes time for that to happen because, again, especially when the kids feel that them being close with their step parent would hurt their bio parent, then the kids are torn. And of course, they will choose their bio parent, right? Okay, so another question here is, would you encourage or discourage your future child to marry into a blended family? This is a very loaded question. Okay, encourage or discourage. It depends on a lot of factors. I'm sure you expected that answer. Because it's not the same for all families. I actually know other blended families who are okay. Like, I know Filipino celebrity blended family, Regina and Augie. They're okay, they're good. Their kids are even close to their step-parent, their stepmom. It really depends. I think the biggest the key players of a successful blended family are the bio parents, because everything just depends on them, like how they behave, how they react, how they treat the new partners, because the kids would they would depend their feelings or emotions, their action, their behavior from what their parents are showing them. Okay, so it really depends. If you are ready for everything that I mentioned, I'm sure there's still other issues that I haven't mentioned. Be sure that you are really 100 or 200% committed to the relationship, and then you really love the person, because, and you have to be ready, you have to be sure about yourself that you want that, because if a relationship in itself between two people who are both single before their relationship is complicated in itself, how much more when you're marrying someone with a lot of attachment, you know? And people are complicated. So you have to accept that, you have to embrace that, and you have to have high emotional quotient and social quotient. You have you just have to be a better person, because I think that's the only way for you to enjoy this situation. You know, I am enjoy this situation. I mean, I'm not saying that it's perfect, that it's always happy, but as long as the good things outweigh the not so good things, and you're okay with that, then I would encourage you, because there are also other positive consequences for being in a blended family. Because first, you will grow a lot. Oh, trust me, you will grow a lot. You will grow a lot. You will learn not to be selfish. You will learn to see things from other people's perspective, from other people's angles. You have to broaden your mind, because if you don't try to fix this, this will always suffer. You know, it always starts here, like how you process things. Yeah, and at the same time, you have to be prepared for the decisions, and the time is not always up to you, because there are also other people involved. Like for us, we cannot really, like, you know, travel whenever we want to travel, because there are kids. So we have to make sure that they're well taken care of while we're away. And you know, even the finances, because whether you like it or not, you will spend. You will spend. Like even in non-blended family, you do that, right? And then if that's hard for you to spend for other people who are not your blood, then this is not for you. Okay, again, if you ask me why I'm still here, it's because I have a different perspective. It's because I don't see this thing, or I don't see this relationship as something that I could benefit from. I could only benefit from. I also see this as a mission, like to make a meaningful effect on people, even if they don't appreciate it, as long as God can see it, you know? And because, I mean, if I feel that I am being a good person or I'm doing what I'm supposed to do in this life, then I'm okay. I mean, I believe that God allowed me to be in this situation for a greater purpose. And I always have to remind myself about this, because the human in me, sometimes I'll be so mad at my situation. Like, I don't deserve this. I deserve better things, To be honest, I had those times, right? But thinking about another thing too, I mean, I cannot also, forget about Mike, and our love for each other. Another thing that's also keeping me sane in this situation is because Mike makes me feel at home. Like with him, I can be just myself. Like, I'm not even shy. I'm not scared to show my real self. He can see the ugliest in me, the awkward in me, and everything. And I don't even care about, I don't fear about him losing interest just because I showed him my crazy side or my ugly side, my grumpy side, my mood swings. Because I feel at home with him. I feel safe with him in that sense. So that's why I'm still in this relationship, and like I'm thriving, and because I have faith that everything works for the good for those who love God. So I'm also expecting, I'm actually excited and expectant. Is that a real word? Yeah, I'm expectant to see God's hands to work in this family. Like, how God would turn around things and do miracles. So yeah, as long as I feel that I can sense God in this, that God is with me in this, then I'm okay. Like, I'm still okay here. Yeah, so what else? Yeah, another last question. So this is the last one because this is really long now. So what's your advice for those who are still entering this kind of family or situation? First is you have to guard your heart and guard your boundaries. I know that sometimes when you're new in a family, you get excited, especially if you're that type of person whose love language is, serving and making everyone feel good and served. You just have to guard your boundaries. If it's already too much for you, if you feel like you're being depleted already, then you have to stop. If you feel like you're doing too much compared to the bio parent, then you have to stop. Because in the first place, it should be the bio parent, right? Because again, if you do too much, then they will judge you as trying to replace their bio parent. So yeah, you just have to guard your heart and just take it one day at a time and be gentle with yourself. If you need some time off, go get it. If you need to be away from a complicated situation, go. Because you owe that to yourself. You have to be your best self just so you can be your best to others.